beautiful people? I'm Erin, and this is Erin on Demand. And today we have a Q&A. I asked you to leave me any questions you have about being a content creator or an entrepreneur, and I'm going to answer them in this video. So the first question I got was, what kind of music, or how do I find my music for my videos? And then also, how do I avoid copyright claims? I know y'all be loving the music. I love to put really good music in my videos. I feel like it just enhances the production value. It gets you guys excited or just pulls you more into whatever the story is that I'm trying to tell. So I am very particular about the music that we pick for the videos. We use MusicBed or Epidemic Sound between all of our both of our channels, I should say. So basically what you do is you create an account with whatever music licensing company you want to go with, and then you link your social media to that account. So that way, when you upload your video on YouTube with that music in there, it will flag as a copyright claim at first. It's going to take like a few minutes to clear, and then the copyright claim goes away once they realize that you actually have licensing for using that music. That's pretty much how I do it. I just go in there, I listen to different songs. A lot of artists I use over and over again, especially when they have new songs released. We kind of have like a big list of favorites, and we just go through it. Well, Cameron goes through it because he edits all my videos, and he picks based on the vibe of the video. So that's pretty much how I choose music, what I use, MusicBed or Epidemic Sound, and then it clears automatically once we upload to YouTube or Instagram or wherever. Number 2 is, what editing software do I use? I use Final Cut Pro. I've been using Final Cut Pro. I think if you are a beginner, Final Cut Pro is pretty user-friendly. Any editing software is gonna be a little bit clunky to get to understand, just because editing is just, it looks very intimidating a lot of times. However, there are a lot of resources now, like CapCut. If you're looking to edit vertical videos, CapCut, InShot, like there are lots of other things. You can also learn with iMovie and then graduate to Final Cut Pro once you feel like you've gotten a swing of it. But I love to tell you guys that it's not about the editing software. How good a video is edited has nothing to do with the editing software that you're using. It has everything to do with the person editing it. And there are tons of successful YouTube channels who use iMovie, who use free editing softwares, because they really don't need to do a whole lot of fancy stuff. The biggest piece of advice, I think I got another question. Yes, I got another question from Karen on YouTube, said, what is the best advice on learning how to edit videos? The best advice is to practice. Practice with a free editing software first. Like, I will always recommend to practice with iMovie if you have a Mac, or any Mac products, or just something free. Even InShot, even though it's like on your phone, it's still a really good way to learn just the basics or the fundamentals of editing. So I would say practice at least 30 minutes a day and start with one thing at a time. I know in my eBrand Creator College, we have a whole editing fundamentals lesson in there where I step-by-step show you how to edit. Okay, question number 3 is mentors. What mentors do I have? Who do I learn from? How am I so smart and so wise and have so much wisdom? Okay, Erin, let me be quiet. No, but seriously, I get asked this a lot. And truth be told, I don't have a set person that I consider my mentor or my mentors. When it comes to mentors, I don't have like a set mentor or a personal board of directors. However, I am one who doesn't need to be like coddled. I don't need to like check in with someone every so often to see my progress. And who knows, maybe if I had more of a mentor who served that role, I would find it to be extremely helpful. But I haven't had that. And I've found that I take a lot from people who I follow, people whose books I've read, people who've shared their stories, interviews that I've watched. I can learn really well and absorb value really easily without having a personal relationship with someone. I am not gonna say that I have a specific mentor. However, people that I admire would be Oprah Winfrey. I grew up watching Oprah. A lot of just interview skills talking on camera skills. I have like really done my deep dive into Oprah's success, into her story, and that really helps inspire me. I also love Myleik Teal. I think a lot of what she shares is just very aligned with my mindset as well. There are a lot of people who I admire. However, I just wouldn't call them like a personal mentor, although they've mentored me from afar. So that's me. And I love to read different books on people whose stories, like I have some books up there, Michelle Obama's book, Will Smith's book, Kevin Hart's book. Like I find a lot of value and just courage from reading other people's stories. That's that. Number 4, are hashtags still relevant? Yes. I would say hashtags are still relevant. Now, here's the thing. Everything is changing all the time. So by the time you watch this video tomorrow, who knows? Hashtags might not be relevant by then. But I will say this. Hashtags are not something that are going to make or break the success of your post. Are they going to help it? Potentially, yes. Are they potentially not going to do anything? Yes. Like it's one of those wild card things where you can do it just to do it. And a lot of these platforms are also starting to shift how hashtags are even used. I know Instagram now has topics that you can choose from. Like you can choose 3 topics. So hashtags are probably not a priority on the platform anymore, although I can imagine if you hashtag something in your caption, it's not going to hurt it. Now, do you need a whole group of hashtags of 10 to 30 hashtags across different genres and sizes? No. If you add a couple hashtags to your post, I think that is fine. Now on YouTube, it's a little bit different. There's not really, hashtagging really isn't much of a thing on YouTube, but you can add tags, and that's always going to be relevant for SEO. Well, I can't say always, but so far since I've been on the platform, adding tags has not stopped, although they're not hashtags. You're just tagging your video with different keywords that you think will help optimize it. Question number 5 is, do I think content creators are making less money now than in the years past, like in previous years? I would say, well, the timing of this video is kind of interesting because we're in Q1. So I made a video about the highs and lows of being a content creator where I actually go through the waves of how you make money as a content creator, what seasons are high seasons, what are low seasons. And usually Q1 is actually a lower season. Brands are just getting off of the holiday season. A lot of ad spend happens in Q4. So Q1 is typically a slower month. And I think that it can be perceived as you're making less because it's just not as much ad money being spent. Also, during the time of this, brands are also a little bit more cautious right now, particularly because this recession talk / thing that's happening. Brands are just being a little bit more conservative with their spending. So I don't think that influencer marketing is going anywhere. I don't think that brands are going to just stop influencer marketing altogether. But I do think just in general, when a recession talk is in the realm, that brands are more conservative with their marketing spend, which directly impacts influencers. So that's why I always say, have your own business, have other streams of income, because when things like this happen, you aren't leaning so much on brand deals. But overall, I don't think creators are making less now. The industry is trending in an upward direction. So people are just making more and more money off of creating content, and even more so if you have a business to back up your content to where you can push people to your own products, your own services. You may not be making as much from brands depending on how you're positioning your content, but you can still have a huge earning potential on your own. Okay, question number 6 is how to find an influencer manager. And this is going to be very dependent on your situation, but the first influencer manager I found, I actually reached out to her through word of mouth from another influencer. And actually, the second one too. I have a new brand manager as of last May, so not really new, but I found them through Catherine Manning, who recommended them. So I have found my brand managers through word of mouth from influencers that I trust, and I enjoy their content, and I feel like their brand integrations are really good. You want to pay attention to like who's on their roster, because for me, I didn't want to be on a roster with only beauty girls, because that's not the type of content that I create. It made sense for me to be on a more diverse roster with different types of content creators, or a roster of people who are primarily in the entrepreneurship or finance or marketing space. So you have to find your manager based on how they're going to be able to be an asset to you, and vice versa. Like, it's a mutual thing, because if you're not getting deals, then they're not getting paid, because most managers are paid by commission based on when you get paid, they get paid. So finding the brand manager, I would say word of mouth, just doing some research. Honestly, I don't think that there's like one set path to finding a manager. A lot of times, if you are kind of an on the rise creator, when I was first kind of getting my feet wet on YouTube, I got a ton of emails from brand managers who were trying to get me on their list. So when you are at that point, you will know, and you will be able to find someone. You can also look at other content creators who are maybe in your same realm, or who you really admire, or who are around the same size as you. And a lot of times in their email, you will see like who their partnerships go to, and you can like Google them and reach out and see who else is on their roster, or apply, or whatever. Okay, Lamaria on YouTube asks, tips on leadership / authority on digital platforms. I feel like I'm always trying to be a YouTuber instead of just being one. I love this question. Honestly, I feel like these types of questions are really you just needing permission to go out and do what you already know you need to do. And that is to just be you, and to just go ahead and create. You're never gonna know how to have authority and leadership in a specific space, in the digital space, at a party, in the workspace, if you just don't go out and do it. I could tell you so many times until I'm blue in the face how to network at a networking event. But if you never go to a networking event and figure out how you fit into those things, then you're never gonna know how to do it. And the same thing goes with everything. I can teach you how to edit a video. I could teach you every single step, but if you don't go ahead and do it yourself, then you're never gonna know how to do it. So I think a lot of times we just get so hardwired on what we think we're supposed to be doing and how we think we're supposed to be doing it based on what we see in the context around us, without just doing it for our own selves. And that's the biggest issue with creating now, is that we feel like because we're so consumed with content creation and content and people who are telling us what to do, that we don't even feel like our natural instincts are going to help us and are going to tell us and guide us in the right way, and they will. So if you feel like you are supposed to be doing something, or supposed to be saying something a certain way, or supposed to be talking about a certain thing in the digital space, then go for it. Show up in the way that is most comfortable for you, most authentic to who you are, and that bleeds through the camera. And that is something that cannot be taught. You cannot teach someone how to be authentic. You cannot teach someone how to do them. All you can do is get into practice, so that you can find out how to present yourself in the most authentic way through the lens. I would encourage you to go watch my video on authenticity that I posted a couple weeks ago, because I think it will really help you in knowing how to find your footing in the space that you're trying to create online. The Urban Sunflower asks how to stay organized. Like, what does your schedule as a full-time content creator look like? Can you share tips on organization and productivity apps? Okay, staying organized as a content creator is very necessary, because without it, you just feel like you're all over the place. So a few things that we do. We have a jumbo wall calendar that every month we go to it. We write out all the YouTube videos that we're going to post that month, and we primarily use it for that. We also have special dates, big team meetings, vacations, weddings, like big, larger events that we need to know are coming down the pipe so that we can plan around those as well. So that is like the biggest thing, is being able to have a bird's eye view of what's coming up, especially planning the content. Well, for one, so we have the jumbo year-long calendar. For two, we have quarterly planning meetings with my team where we go in and we plan all the content in our programs for the quarter. So that way we're not every month having to come and reconvene and plan out the next month on that type of basis. For our programs, we like to plan in quarterly chunks. So that's really helpful on the business end. Now, on the content end, we don't like to plan that far out. We like to plan month by month, because if something, I don't know, just life be lifing, and in 2 months, that's like a lot of content that's far out. So if you're on a whole nother wavelength by then, you've got to go back and erase all of that and like go back to the drawing board. So we found that a month of planning for content is a good enough, that's casting a wide enough net. We've just really been focusing on one main platform, which is YouTube, and giving extra energy to Instagram and TikTok. And this has really helped me stay organized, because I am not so overwhelmed with trying to think about what should go where and when and how. And I'm just focused on one main thing. And I noticed that I grew so much more on my other platforms by not really focusing so much on them to where I'm overthinking everything I post. Another thing that we do to stay organized is we have lots of hard drives. We keep our files very organized when it comes to like the video footage. You guys probably know, if you're new here, my husband is my editor. So as soon as this video, I'm done recording it, he's gonna grab the footage, we're gonna snap a thumbnail, we put it all in one folder, and every month is labeled. So we have a 2023 folder inside of the hard drive, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. And then inside the YouTube folder is January, February, March, April. And then inside the January folder is all the January videos. So everything is very organized on the back end of these videos, because without that, it's really difficult to, I don't know, find old footage. If I need footage for a future video, or if we have a sponsored video and they need all the raw footage, then it's just so organized. So please, please, please try to keep your stuff really organized in whatever way works for you. But this system has been working really well for us so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I did get a lot more questions, so let me know if you want to see a part 2 of this. We had more questions on how to come up with video ideas, how to figure out what type of business you want to start, what was my first brand deal, and what is one piece of advice. What's the name of this giant light shining on me? So I have more questions, and if you guys want another Q&A, leave me a question down below so I can consider it for the next one. And maybe I'll make this a monthly thing so that I can just get some questions out the way that I probably wouldn't do a full video on, but they're frequently asked questions that I want to make sure I get back to y'all on. So if you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for staying with me. Give it a thumbs up if you want a part 2. If it makes it to, I don't know, 2,000 thumbs ups, then I'll do a part 2, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.